They got some new stock in this morning. They said yesterday as we were finishing up, they had 2 pot loads of heifers coming in this morning, and they're here because they're balling. They're up there testing all the bulls right now at the corral, and I get all these little girls come in here. There's a bunch of them, and they're balling. I don't know for sure, but I expect it come in, the 2 pots come in from one of their other farms. They shuffle a lot of cattle in and out of here. They do the little corral or feedlot too over there at the office where we were working. I kind of enjoy being around cattle a little bit. I wouldn't want any of my own, but as a lot of you guys know that follow my channel, you know that Roger's my granddad. He raised me. He's the only dad I've really ever known. But my real dad, his name's Gary. He lives down in northwest Arkansas. Well, he's a bull hauler. He hauls cattle. He's got several, I don't know, probably 20 trucks, pots. I mean, hauls a lot of cattle. Good looking trucks too. If you go on the Timber Tracker app, you can see a link to his stuff. It's at Dixie Grove Farms. But it's he's got a pretty sweet setup. He really does. He's got a lot of pretty cool trucks. Peterbilt's got some cab over show trucks he builds. Just got some conventional stuff too. Some T660 Kenworths he hauls with, and I mean he hauls a lot of cattle for some of my friends even. Hauls cattle all over the Midwest. He's a pretty cool guy. Yeah, I do enjoy being around cattle to an extent. I'll go with him every now and then to haul a load of cattle, and I enjoy that. That's fun too. Logging's where my heart is, though. That's all I want to do is just log, and I guess kind of design forestry software. I kind of enjoy that too. Amongst a few other things, I've always got a few irons in the fire, but it's always something to do with logging and forestry. Now, I had somebody ask me yesterday, they commented on one of the Facebook posts about some of the logs we had laid out, posted. They said I know I'm going to misword this, I know I am, but it was along the lines of all the pictures of the logs were great, but they wanted to see like some pictures of us replanting trees. I guess you're going to have to look elsewhere because we don't replant trees. You know, there's several farms here around this part of Missouri, especially with the walnut production. Not just the walnut lumber, the actual fruit, the nut itself, that people try to grow and raise walnut trees. Guys, that don't work. That does not work. I can take you to place after place where people grow these things out and plant them just like a crop. And they'll be 50, 60, 70 years old, and they're not even big enough to harvest. They don't get very tall. They just get short and bush out, and they don't ever put on any girth even. I mean, they just, so planting, I don't know, planting this hardwood, I mean, pine's different, you know, that pine, they've got that pine down to a science where they can genetically engineer it all, and they can do a harvest every, 10 to 15 years on pine for what they're doing, but hardwood don't work that way, guys. It just don't. That's why we like what we do with selective harvesting, where we go through and we just thin. We don't do any clear cuts. Then we rely on people like the squirrels for our replanting practices. So what we're doing today, we got the apprentice started up. I got it warming. We're going to go clear over the hill here where we were yesterday. We're going to leave the 540 grapple here and the 540 cables over at the office. But we're going to take this over to another part of the farm and start cutting walnut over there. So I guess let's jump in this thing and away we go. I couldn't even tell you where we are. This place is so big. We've gotten to a pasture. We just come out of that, kind of what you see over there. That's no man's land. There's some really good trees over there though. I mean, those walnut trees you see there, if I can hold the camera still. Come on, you. Those are some big trees right over there you see. I mean, some busters. I think there's several of them. And that pasture ain't been cleared cleared or cleaned. But this here, they've actually cleaned it up where we're at. Like I said, this place is so big, I don't know how they keep track of it all. I don't know how they keep track of the cattle that are on, to be honest with you. We're gonna go over here and start somewhere. I'm just kind of going where Dad tells me to go. I'm starting to think it'd have been just as easy to road this apprentice around on the highway instead of cut through the countryside here. There's been gate after gate after gate we've had to open and cross and go through, and they got this thing cross-fenced in so many different pieces. Maybe we'll get there today, I don't know. This is another cool thing about the job here. You get to see a lot of country that people don't get to see all the time. That's an old spring house there. There's a spring under that. That's one of the neatest old spring houses I've ever seen right there. I'm gonna come back later and check that out. Well, I guess now we're changing gears again. We're gonna do some cutting. I've got my little 661. Dad's starting on that, and man, there's just a multitude of trees over here. You know, I've run around this country my whole life. Grew up here in this area. When I was out of high school, me and my buddies, these old county roads. That house right there. That little 40 acres there is a different place. We've cut it off. And the next two places north of there, we've cut some big jobs of walnut. And like I said, these old dirt roads out here, I used to run these with my buddies, doing all them things that young kids do, you know. Having adult beverages, and we probably weren't. Well, I know at the time I wasn't old enough to be drinking beer, but I run around with some older boys, and some of the best times of my life, I'll tell you that. Had a lot of fun, but all them years we rode around out here, I had no idea this was here, all this walnut. Had no clue, but it's here. Not for much longer though, so let's fire up the old saw, see if we can get one or two down. Sometimes you'll have trees that just want to sit here and don't want to fall, kind of like this one. So that's why we use a hammer and a wedge. We use metal wedges. We don't use the plastic ones. It don't take too much to bring these things down. See, it's already popping. Come on, you. There she goes. Well, maybe. There. Hammer and wedge. You can't, pretty invaluable tool. Guy always needs to have some wedges. Like I said, we still use the metal wedges. We don't use the plastics. Get this down here, but yeah, that's just, Dad's always used the metal ones, and of course you can see here what they are, just a good old metal wedge, but pretty valuable tool. Guy needs to have some with him, because if you're trying to get a tree a certain place, or just like this, and a lot of these walnuts, these bushy walnut, they're out here in these pastures, man, you'd be surprised. They do. They'll just sit here balanced. So that's what we do. We just wedge them on over. Now a lot of times we take the skidder and just kind of nudge on them a little, but we're gonna, I guess, do some cutting, which is fine to me because I like to change the pace. I'd rather cut and be in that skidder any day. I enjoy being out here running the saw. So Dad's he's whittled another big one down. That other big one he was cutting, it had a little hollow spot there in it, which the butt was kind of swollen on it, so we kind of figured it might have been a little bad. It probably goes about 2.5 foot, and then it'll clear up. So there's still probably 450 or 500 foot in that big tree. Now he's cutting on a pretty good one right there too, where he's at now. I'd say he'll cut that one, the one below it, then we'll probably move out of here, go someplace else and cut some trees. I think we'll leave these others. They're just a tad on the small side, so we'll leave them there. And we're not cutting the tops off because we'll use the prentice, and we'll drag the tree top and all someplace and pile it as usual. So let's wait for Dad to get this one down. There he goes. He's starting to clip the ears right now. So old chunk. They're good sized logs, but they're just being out here in this pasture. They're just short-bodied trees, which, at least they got some diameter to them. Like I said, I'd rather cut bad walnut than good oak any day. It's starting to rock. There it goes. Set her right down. He'll go back and clip those ears off. There he goes with that. That way they can run brush hog over the stump. Okay, so we're done cutting for today. We cut a handful of trees out there and moved some machines around. I've actually got to look at timber this afternoon. I'm actually in my old diesel truck right now, the old Power Stroke. So I've got this thing for sale, trying to get rid of it. And to my new truck, if it sells before my new truck gets here, awesome, but if not, I'm just going to trade it in, which I don't want to do because they always want to beat you to death on trade-in. So I picked it up here in town. I had a few little things done to it, just trying to make it look a little better. I put a new handle in it here. That handle was gone, so I put a new one of those in it. Put a new driver's side mirror in it, which those are not cheap. Those are terribly expensive. I had somebody come in my lane here. It's been quite a while back. They come in my lane and their mirror clipped my mirror and it busted it out. So, which everything still works fine, but I just went ahead and had it fixed. Makes it look a little better anyway. So what we're gonna do now, I'm gonna take this home, drop it off. Dad's gonna pick me up. I'm gonna jump in the 4Runner. Then we're gonna go up here around Clinton, Missouri and look at a stand of walnut timber. So I'll probably take you guys with me when we go look at this timber, see what it looks like. I've actually got timber to look at today and tomorrow both. The job I got to look at tomorrow is down around Ozark, Missouri. I love cutting timber down there. So it's not a very big job down there, like 20 acres the gentleman said, but it's white oak and walnut. I sure ain't gonna pass that up. So let's go look at some trees. How about that? We're out here beating around the bush. Supposed to be up here looking at walnut timber. Now, I have yet to see any walnut trees. I'm seeing post oak and a little bit of chinkapin oak, but I'm not seeing any walnut yet. He's got some pretty good post oak, this gentleman does. but I'm not really wanting to buy any post oak right now. If it had some size to it and was pretty good, I would, but the markets just aren't real good on the post oak timber, and I'd rather refrain from cutting it if I could. So we're going to venture a little deeper in this and see what we can find. Aha! We found walnut. Unfortunately, it's not very big. So we'll just keep walking. I think I see another one up here. Got some flagging around it. So we'll take a look at it. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot here. Wrong kind of ground. It doesn't lay right. Let's take a look. It's a little better tree. It's on the small side. That's about as small as I like to cut them. There's a couple pin knots right there. Now, let's walk a little further. Here's one of the problems right here, is this water oak right here. Usually where you got water oak growing, you're probably not going to see a lot of walnut growing. What's odd, another water oak there, that water oak, another one, a few more. It's kind of up here on the higher ground. So, I don't know, not looking good. Another little guy right here, little guy. They need to grow a little bit. It's not real good ground either. We'll get down here. There's a pretty good one here right in front of us. It's got some height to it. Pretty good red oak right there with that ribbon around it. Just not going to be much here today. There's a decent little tree right here. Rough, but this guy here in front of us, man, that's a good tree. I wish he had about 30 or 40 of those. Got some size to it. Got some size to it there. Just not going to be enough here to do anything with. What's good though, being the place these guys are in, they will grow good. Whoa, what's going on there? They'll grow good. They will grow real good. Guys, I don't think we're going to buy any walnut timber today. We're going to wrap this up, head on home, but man, I can't thank you guys enough for watching and following along on our channel, YouTube and Instagram. It really means the world. It really does. So we'll be back at it tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday. We'll be back in the walnut timber. So be sure to stay tuned. Follow back with that. Oh, pretty decent tree right here. So keep up with that. Like, comment, share them. Love talking to you guys. Comments, keep them coming. But guys, we're gonna get off here. Head back to Stockton. Try to get something else done this afternoon. Maybe go find a mushroom. But thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you later.